My wife's like, "Oh, you have a meeting?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do."
Are we on? Okay. Welcome, everyone. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2024. This is the regular meeting of the Rutland Town Select Board, and we're doing it today instead of tomorrow because tomorrow is primary election day. So welcome to all of you who are joining. We have with us today 3 select board members live and in person. Joe DiNardo, Mary Ashcroft, and Sharon Russell. So please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. We keep trying to pass a couple of select board minutes.
Nope.
And one is for,
Nope.
we can't do it?
Nope.
No quorum for either?
Yeah, there's 3 of us, but we weren't all at the same meeting.
Okay,
So the July 2nd one, yes.
so we'll pass over the
Yep.
July 2nd
And the July 30th.
and the July 30th. We'll try again. This meeting. Okay. Any board member announcements? Matt? Kurt? No? Okay. Update from the select board chair. Welcome back to Bill. We have more stuff than usual on the desk because Bill wasn't here to help us mail out packets. There are some things that we do have and we'll go over. Okay. Oh, and a big thank you to all of those volunteers who showed up Monday, I believe it was, to stuff the tax bills into envelopes and prepare the whole thing for mailing. So thank you all. It was a good group that came in. And I won't release names in case people didn't like their tax bills and take it out on those who participated in the mailing. But one comment I did hear was that the tax increase was not as bad as expected. So thanks all around to all of those who helped with that. Do we have any questions from the floor or public comments from anyone in the room?
Did you want to mention the townwide celebration on Saturday, the 24th?
Yeah, let's do, okay.
Because we won't meet again until after.
Yeah, Joey reminds me that we need to mention townwide celebration, which is set for Saturday, August 24th. That's coming up in a week and a half. And we hope you can all be there. It should be a great event. Lots of displays from our town departments and from others. And we've got the Caterpillar ride, except it's not that. Maybe it is Caterpillar. What is it? Whatever he calls it. Huh? Okay. Okay. We have fire trucks. We have the police radar. We have the sheriff's coming. We might have life flight. We'll see. That's always a last minute thing. We have lots of food. Sharon and I and Matt are cooking, and anyone else who we're going to be doing a presentation, a plaque commemorating the founders of Northwood Park. So join us for that as well. We have a DJ, we have free swimming and all sorts of things. So just a reminder, please do join us on August 24th. It's also the farewell to the swimming pool's last day, or is the last day the next day? No, last day is Saturday, the 24th. Okay.
Fireworks in the evening.
And fireworks in the evening. So that'll remind you that you missed it if you look up and you see fireworks on Saturday. So mark it in your calendars so you don't. Okay, that gave us time for anyone who wanted to say anything to raise your hand, or if you're not otherwise on the agenda. I don't see anybody who wants to participate on Zoom or in the room, so we'll move on. Mike Delehanty, Town First Constable, is not here and not in the room. Ed Dumas, Town Police Chief. Good evening.
Couple things. for you.
Mhm. Thank you.
We'll talk about that in executive session. That's me.
Okay. And the numbers.
Some of them.
Okay. Oy. Okay, Chief, what are we looking at?
Which one would you like to look over first?
Oh, let's do the shorter one.
The shorter one.
Yeah.
The stats for the month of July. So monthly cases 156, 141 were in the area of the southern end of the town. So we spent about 90% of our time down towards that end of the town. That's the most we spent this year so far.
Yeah. Okay.
There's only 2 of us doing it right now. We had some couple few lodgings actually, pursuits. Had a fight with somebody. We've had a busy month down there.
How are you holding up with the police officers you do have?
Oh, Ted and I are doing good.
That's it in this term,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Jimmy's doing fantastic with the training his dog.
Okay.
He works.
And how's Rooster doing?
He's doing very well.
Okay.
From what I've been told, we've got a little snippet of, he showed some demonstrations of how he's doing. I'm excited for
Yeah.
Jimmy and the Rooster and what he can do for the community. Unfortunately, a dog's life is pretty short, so it's
Yeah.
important to get him out there and doing it now. So, but we have a really good officer who's really applies himself to this, and we always have a saying that the intelligence of the dog runs down the leash. So we have a pretty smart dog.
And school resource officer, any interest in the position?
We do. We have one person who applied, and we've been kind of busy, so I haven't really had an opportunity to really pursue that. Sarah Tetzlaff has reached out to me. I think I told her we have one in the pike right now, but
Okay.
Is it going to be done by the time school gets here? Probably not.
Okay. And the other position that is open that the select board asked you to
The
start looking for,
CFAC position, we
there's that, yeah?
we did the numbers on it, and if it's if somebody needs a family plan and they want to work, the CFAC wants them to work 40 hours a week. It's only comes out to like a little over $16 an hour. I can pay somebody, and that we're not going to get anybody for
It's not
that.
enough.
So we're kind of waiting. They were looking into the other extra 20 grand to see if that's still out there. I haven't heard anything from Mary yet.
Okay.
If
And they were-
anything, it might be a part-time position. but
And
it's gonna
that
be
was
part-time.
part of the question to them too. Would they be okay with that?
So I'm kind of like waiting to hear from them on that
Okay.
point.
And the additional officer for, uncommitted for other organizations for our own department?
I think in the last bit of the the background right now.
Okay. Okay.
Then it'll be up to you folks.
Good. Thank you. All right. And the longer version,
Long version, we had, let's see, 131 calls for service, all sorts of stuff. Any questions on, let me know, the usual. But we have spent a lot of time in the Cortina. Also, when you get down there, I got one other little bit of information about the south end that happened today. I'll let you know.
Is that, need to go into executive?
No, that can wait till the end.
Yeah, I've got that at the end. Okay. Any questions from anyone on the lengthy report or the shorter report? Nope. Okay,
So we had to go down for a drug overdose today at the Cortina, somebody having a seizure. Apparently they got a hold of some bad crack from what we determined and had a seizure. Yes,
What is good crack?
I don't know. But what doesn't give you a seizure, I guess, I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Maybe that is good crack, I don't know. He had a bad reaction to whatever. And at the same time, the state had, the state health department had a team of 4 people, 2 working together, going room to room. I was told they were taking pictures and had a checklist and went in and asked a lot of residents what they thought about certain things. And apparently, from what I was told, the residents were quite telling them what it was all about. So I heard that the owner was indisposed. He was not in town today. He was in New York.
well,
It's unusual. There seems to be nobody in charge and he's not there. The place kind of runs itself. And that's not good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Um,
pedophiles at the front desk.
I wonder if that part went right over the people from the state's head. That there was this place with 100 and some odd rooms rented, all of these individuals, kids and families and people there, and there's no management.
Right.
They might not even notice that.
They might not. They're too worried about the black mold, any leaky pipes, things not working.
Which is good.
Yeah,
That's what they were doing.
yeah,
But
okay.
then we spent another 2.5 hours down there dealing with a domestic assault issue with a woman and her 3 children. One of the children was assaulted. And we called DCF, got them involved, and the stench in that room was,
Yeah,
I can't even explain to you. A barn doesn't smell that bad. There you go. Cow barn, pig barn doesn't smell that bad.
had DCF been in that room, do you know?
They were that day.
Okay,
They came at my request. That they work on a different level than we do, but they
Yeah.
accepted the complaint. And actually my call up, working with CFAC so close throughout the years, I had numbers to people, so I was able to make some few phone calls, and they came right on and helped us out. So
Okay.
they were able- and they were able to help the family out mainly. That's the most important.
we still, let's see, we have not seen a written response from the letter that town council sent to Cortina. We did have Drew in here last meeting to respond to the comments about illegally parked cars or too many cars constituting a junkyard.
Yeah.
But town council, we also need to check back in with town council about the next letter to the state officials, because I think they said we should check in with them in August.
Right.
So it is now August.
August, half gone.
We also had a complaint at the Diamond Run Mall. Somebody free, I think Fidium or Comcast, one of the two, broke into the place and messed with their wires
Ugh.
and wanted to make a complaint to us, called the state police. I told them, contact their private security company, Sensor Security. That's who needs to handle this complaint. That's their issue, not mine. So.
These summers come and gone. We haven't heard from them either.
No, and that was August
August.
too.
August,
Right,
yeah,
that was
well,
another
we-
one.
they got-
Like I
they got-
said, which August?
Yeah.
They got
Because that was
17
the-
to
that's the
18 days.
byline,
left, so we're good.
August.
Right.
They got another meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be around for executive session
I will
toward the
be.
end of the evening? Okay.
will.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Questions for our chief of police? If not, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Ed.
you.
Okay. Is John Paul Faignant on? Okay.
JP.
Barbara did say she was not coming to a conflict tonight.
Okay, so Barbara Noyes Pulling Town Planning Commission Chair is not on. Mike Rowe, Town Rec Director, is here, live and in person.
Well, good evening. How are
Good
you?
evening.
I don't know where to start. We've had a couple of we need to schedule a rec committee meeting, hopefully next week, whatever is convenient. I'd like to do it before I go back to school. So if we could do that, if you would talk with Matt and see what works best for Matt.
Okay,
We have
I
a couple
won't-
topics
I,
so if you could figure that out and then let
Yeah.
Bill know so we can warn. Bill, how much time do we need to warn the
48 hours.
48 hours? Okay. We just have a couple of things such as we've had a couple of malfunctions at the pool that need to be taken care of with depreciation, and then just kind of some wrap up and moving forward for the fall season that I'd just like to address. So if we could schedule that, that would be great. As Mary said, the last day of the pool is 24th. We'll be closing at the 25th, which means it's going to be 90 degrees hot and a line of people waiting to get in when there's no pool and a cover on it. So if we move quick enough, we might be able to put the cover on Saturday night so we can just not go Sunday. No, that's not gonna happen. Oh, it might if we move quickly, depending on the mood they're in. No, but Sunday will be the day that we will close on that. So the next meeting, I'll have that sad news to tell you. That means that summer's over and school is starting, which is not a problem, but that is such the way of the world. Everything else, soccer signups are ongoing, and that's started. That'll start soon, which is good. With our kids that are wanting to play. Mowing is mowing. It's now that we've had this nice cool weather and the grass really just wants to green up again and grow again, which is great because it makes everything look really good. The place is being used nonstop. I mean, it seems like it gets busier every day, which is a good thing, which is what it's for. And that's just a real positive. I haven't really noticed a lot of dogs off anymore. People are pretty conscious
Mostly,
about that.
we were up
Mostly
there,
they're gonna
yeah.
be, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it seems like if they see me, they quickly put their leash on.
Yeah.
That's number one. Two, they people are being a lot more respectful with how things are going. So I guess as far as the townwide celebration goes, we're all set with that. Bill, you're going to, I'm assuming, be appointed as the bringing the grill from the fire department.
Probably.
I'm just letting you know you can bring that up anytime you want. Mine's right there, ready to go. So we will need 2. Bill did say he got some other tents, so we should have 4 tents anyway. So
Good.
for
Okay.
anybody that needs that, I did email you about maybe setting up a table or something
Yes.
for the seniors to
Yes.
sign up.
Do we have any volunteer willing to sit out there or just a table?
I mean, maybe I could put an 8th grader, the 8th graders that are coming up,
Yes.
they could possibly make a sign and man the table and
sure.
collect
That'd be
any
great.
names.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
was my thought. But if you knew of a better way or another way, maybe we could just get some people that aren't on the list.
Okay.
And I can, if it's okay, if you think it's okay to have a list there already of the names that I have, would that be acceptable? Because
No,
then they
I
could
would
say, am I
start-
on the list?
I would start.
You know
You
what I
can
mean?
just say, you can just say, we'll double check, but even if you are, we may not have your current contact
Okay,
information.
so that's
So
probably the
please
best
put
way
it
to do
down. Yeah.
Okay, I have no problem with that. I just,
Okay.
so we'll hope to do something probably in September. Once I get a little bit better list, we'll try to figure something out. I'm just trying to think what else.
And the plaque
The
presentation.
plaque,
Yay.
yes, so we're gonna need to just promote that at some point. I don't care what time you pick. I will have it up. It is being printed as we speak, and they said that I will have it by the 22nd. It is an acrylic plaque. I think it's 16 by 20. And it's got a white background and then blue lettering, and it's similar to what was written with your names on it. And I think it's gonna look really nice. And it's well deserved and well overdue. So, and it will be able to be moved if we have to move it to a different
Okay.
spot. But that seems like the best spot in the park. I don't know where else we would,
Yeah,
that
I'm
people
gonna,
would see it, you know.
I'm gonna try to contact those whose names are on there.
Good.
There's several of them that have passed away,
Yeah.
so.
But if they have family members, that would be
But
great.
family members,
That would be nice. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
you're gonna have to let me know on,
Oh, the time.
no, on Jesse, who I would call.
Okay. All right, well,
'Cause
we'll talk.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just want to get as many people that was associated or had their family members associated
Nancy
with that
Burgess
there.
was really, um, she was really honored about this. I mean,
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
she
it's like we
really-
honor everything else and it just took a long time for this. So I'm glad it's happening
yeah,
because everything else is honored. It needs to be honored as well. Other than that, as far as our PD for the fireworks, fireworks for people, remember it's dark at about 8:30 now, so I'm assuming 8:45 is probably launch time at this point, weather depending, and so 7 o'clock would probably be a good time, and we can talk strategy with how we're gonna do it and who we let in, not who we let in, but how many we let in. I shouldn't say it that way. We do gotta make sure that probably someone's by school and whatever, you know the deal. So if Chief on the line? Is Chris on the line? Is Clark on the line? Okay, so if we could just relay that to Chris that, he has his guys up there with the trucks and stuff, that would be great.
okay.
I'm assuming that's the case, but if you would let the boys know that that's happening. Now, is there a cutoff time as far as if it rains? Cross your fingers it doesn't.
14-day forecast says 24% chance of rain, temperatures in the mid-70s.
It's gonna be beautiful for the rest of the
That's
summer.
what the, yeah, and Sunday is 35% chance of rain and 75 degrees, so
Yeah.
you won't have to hear about the 90 degrees in the pool. closing.
Yeah, I know, but it always will switch. That's also a 14-day.
I just
forecast,
looked, cause
which will
that's,
change.
my life revolves around 3 consecutive sunny days this time of year.
Yeah.
I'm fully aware of your 3 consecutive sunny days.
And there
let
are
me know. Other than that, I don't have much unless you guys have anything for me.
Any questions?
Just good.
Just one about, you were mentioning about some of the repairs and stuff.
Yeah.
So some of the things like that pump that you were talking about, do you take that out of the maintenance
we
portion,
have-
not out of the depreciation?
We have 3 things now that need to be fixed,
Okay,
and they're all coming out of depreciation. The fencing over at Dewey, which you approved last time,
Mhm.
that's a separate depreciation line item we have is fencing, so that's fine.
okay,
The second one is the filter tanks themselves. They have ballast or laterals in them, and it's filled with sand. Well, we're getting sand back into the pool, which means the laterals are broken. Now, Allen will do that. They're the only game in town, and they have to find a very small person to fit inside the tanks to clean them out.
Don't make eye contact.
And so I've already conversed with Alan, and they don't know, they can't tell which one it is, so they're gonna replace both of them, which
Right.
happens anyway, and that will solve our problem, and that will be out of depreciation because, and then the last one
and
is
the only
pump.
reason I.
how high are the tanks?
As far as,
Well, you're talking about a little person.
well,
How,
no, I'm talking about a little person is that the hole is like, I don't know, maybe that. It's not a big hole to get into the tank. The tanks are only, well, your height, about that high off the ground. They're not tall. So but it's that hole that you have to get into.
Well, if.
So they
if we
haven't
have
figured out. They've
Alan-
done it before.
Okay, all right.
They've done it before. It was many years ago. But he's like, yeah, I had to find a really small guy to get in there, and because they got to put the laterals back in when they replaced with the new ones.
The only reason I bring it up,
Sure.
Mike, is that if you have
Stay
like
in
an
Maine.
equipment maintenance or building maintenance, we're
Correct.
getting to the end of the season. I know you'll start in the spring
Right.
using the same budget, but if you use that up, we wouldn't be giving it back at the end of the year.
I totally
So
agree with that.
think so.
This will come out of depreciation because but this is being done now because I'm not gonna wait until the spring and then be like, oh, well.
Right, yeah, and that's not my
yeah,
point, it's
Yeah,
just
I
that,
understand your point though.
If you end up next June with
X number of
3/4
dollars.
of your maintenance money still in your pocket, and it's like.
Yeah.
You ends
Yeah.
up getting
I
back.
will
so-
use that wiser next time. But yes, I totally appreciate that. A lot of these things are like.
You know, and especially because yours is seasonal, so you get a little bit of summer out of the beginning of your budget, and you get a little bit of the beginning of summer out of the end of your budget, and it's a little hard to figure out
Like
What you doing?
Christmas for me is May to July. That's my Christmas time. And that falls right in the middle of the budget. It's where I spend most of my money per se. So yes, you are correct. But that's all I have unless anybody else has.
For
Yeah.
for the celebration, I'm gonna be out of town Saturday morning, so I'll be there in the afternoon. But if there's something you need that you think of ahead of time, let me know by like
Well, you're the ice guy.
Kurt was the ice guy.
Oh, Kurt is the ice
Kurt
guy.
is the
That's
ice guy.
right. Okay. Well, that was my only question because you can't just drop the ice off and leave it.
Not really.
No, it wouldn't go very well.
I'll
So
call Kurt.
let's just make sure because we'll be done.
Okay.
Just double
I
check
will
with
call
Kurt
her.
about the ice.
All right.
That's my only,
If
everything
there's a
else.
problem,
I have
Mary,
space.
Everything else, we're in pretty good shape. But I just
Yeah, we're in good shape
Don't
with
look for me in the morning because you won't find me.
Nope, that's fine. We're okay. Will you know if the helicopter's coming before that? Because people are gonna ask, and if you're not there,
Yeah, it's hit or miss, but they will. I will have a watch for an email. I'll try and get confirmation from them, but even now there it's questionable even on confirmation. So
okay.
yeah.
And do you have a diagram that you can give me for where you want things parked and placed? I know you did, and if you're not gonna be there, then that falls back on me, and I don't want these guys fighting the fire guys for the prime spot. and
Yeah.
Highway
Yeah.
coming and plowing them out of the way with the plow, or my spot, that kind of
Ugly.
thing.
It's been
Don't
real
need
ugly.
that. So just
Yeah, we're working on a layout.
perfect.
Yeah.
All right, and everything will go well then.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll be talking about it in 2 weeks. All right, thank you very
All right.
much.
Thank you, Mike. All right. Larry Del Veneri's on. So Larry, Town Transfer Station Manager.
Mary, I'm all set.
Good
If you guys
evening.
are all set. I have
Oh.
nothing.
You got nothing?
I know nothing.
Yeah.
No, everything's
Any-
running nice and smooth up there. So if you guys got any
Good.
questions, I don't have it.
I don't.
Listen,
Sharon or
between you
Joe?
and your assistant, that's cleaner than most houses I've ever been in.
Supposed to be.
It's a nice
That
reflection
Italian
on the
blood is
town.
really good at that.
The table's back. The table is back for the recyclables. Have you had any problems lately?
No problems at all. I may have a little good news coming up about the household hazardous waste. I'm just waiting to hear from Pam Clapp right now. The state is setting it up now, and we may be getting out of that payment
Oh,
this year or
good.
next year. So
Okay, well, that is good news. We'll see what happens with that.
we'll see what happens. I haven't got all the details yet.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, thank you very much.
You're
Larry, Have
welcome.
a good,
Take care,
Right.
Dell.
Have a good night.
too. All right. Dave Sears, Town Road Commissioner.
No, so,
He's not on.
no, yeah, I'm not sure. I
Okay.
hadn't talked to him today, but I didn't know if the last meeting, did he run by the board his thoughts on the highway depreciation account? We discussed it at our highway meeting prior to that meeting, and I missed the last meeting, so I didn't know what you guys discussed. But one of the topics that we talked about, a lot of things, and I don't remember everything, but because we have expanded into more equipment, that we should be thinking about November, just something to think about come November. Because I was just reading over the minutes from the
Fire
fire
Committee.
you
Yeah.
know, with the escalating costs of this equipment that we will need to go in the same direction. And we did talk at length about replacing the loader. And Dave has some avenues toward different ways of buying equipment. You know how we bought the pickups through the state bid?
Mhm.
There's a nationwide purchasing consortium, whatever. I think it's Bidwell or something. I can't remember the name exactly, but Sourcewell, maybe that's it. And but just for an instance, he was looking at an excavator and buy it through John Deere. It's like 125 or 30,000, and you can buy it through this Sourcewell, which is nationwide for like 95.
Okay.
So there are avenues out there. So when it comes time to purchase something like, replace the loader, we could do the similar thing we did with like the fire trucks. We don't have to put them out to bid. You could look through these companies and whatever machine you want, and you'll get like the state bid price.
So in answer to your question, no,
Okay.
we didn't.
Right.
And
And the other thing,
so, that is coming up.
right.
How much we juggle going to the voters for, a quarter of a cent, half a cent.
There might be a quarter for fire and a quarter for,
Well,
highway.
that's all part of is
Budget
this
process.
the year we do it? Is it next year? Do we wait?
we
That
have
kind
to
of
look
thing.
at
So,
that because
yeah,
because we did expand to the 2 bigger trucks now and
Yep.
in this. the
That's
equipment.
true. Yeah.
Then the other thing that expanding into another piece of equipment, and that would be the excavator. And some things that Dave and I and Kurt talked about were in his, the carryover funds. There's 200 or 300, I think it was like 300 something thousand. And one of the things that, Andrew has talked to us about is getting that number down, so we're not showing that big amount every year carryover. So one of the things I thought about, and I didn't know if he would mention to the guys, was he has a new equipment line. And if we purchased like an excavator out of that equipment, so if we spent the 125,000, but bought it out of new equipment, it would show a deficit in the amount we budgeted, but not in the budget, because that money's in there, and it would help us to manage that. So we would end up getting a piece of equipment without having to go back to the voters to ask for more tax money. So it's just something, so some things to think about, a way of doing that. It kind of satisfies a couple of the ideas, so that, it's nice to have a little cushion in highway because of salt. Salt is one of those things. Winter is one of those things that you can't manage. So I would never spend all of the carryover, but if we spent some of it, and I think he did check with Andrew, and that's an appropriate way to do things. So just a couple of things from that meeting. I didn't know how.
Okay.
That were
Well,
important.
thank you, Dave Sears. Joe, for the Dave Sears report.
Yeah.
I did get a call, and I was going to mention it to Dave, and I'll pass it instead onto Highway Committee and also to Bill. We had received about 6 months ago a call from Flory Heights neighborhood about an uneven drop between the road that was repaved and a driveway. So the person has made a couple of requests to Dave. I don't know if he's, not available this week or what, but he really should get back to her.
Yeah, because aprons
So-
and stuff were part of the bid.
Yeah.
So any aprons for driveways should have been done by whoever
Well,
did the paving. So
that's-
maybe something got missed.
It could very
We
well.
have, that's
but
9
she-
o'clock Monday, right? Or
Yes,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, we
Okay.
have a highway committee. So
Okay, good.
if I forget, Bill.
Well, that's the list.
It's a list.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much.
All right.
Okay, so thank you all. Marcia Chaffee, and we also have in our packet a Marie Pennington request concerning a road issue, a culvert issue. So if you could also
Yeah.
make sure that Highway Committee takes that up, Dave knows about it and so on, so. Thank you. Okay, Marcia Chaffee, Town Head Lister. Are you on, Marcia? Your showing is muted here. There you are. Okay. We can't hear you. You have come off mute, but I can't hear you. Nope. Tell you what, we'll move on, and if you come back on, let us know and we'll hear your report. Chris Clark, Town Fire Chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
A couple things.
Sure.
Number one, I'm sure is on your list too, is the pickup truck sale.
Yes. And I did a brief minutes of the fire committee, which met earlier this week. Was it or last week? I can't even remember. Today's Monday, so it couldn't have been earlier this week. It was last week. And the issue there was, what do we do about the 30-year-old Ford pickup truck diesel that is being replaced by a new truck that we purchased and is about to be delivered within a couple of weeks. And what the question is, how, I'm looking for my minutes, sorry about that. The question is what we do for, how do we get the money for the used vehicle? Who do we offer it to? And a request had been made, and we went through the minutes of that particular select board meeting. A request had been made that we offer it to the firefighters to see who might be interested in bidding on it. When we looked at the minutes, select board minutes for, it was a December meeting, December 19th. The only entry on that was discuss the plan for what to do with the truck it is replacing. The chief asked for the board to allow it to be offered to fire department members first. After discussion, the approximate value of the truck will be determined and a method to sell it will be decided on. So I called Joe, who had a better recollection, more in line with Chris's, but it does appear that we didn't set that method at that meeting. We didn't vote on it. So we do need to, as a board tonight, decide what to do with disposing of that vehicle and whether we do a public bid, whether we go to the firefighters, and how we set the value. So Chris, would you give us what, and there was a comment in here about the approximate value of the truck. And the fire committee meeting, you were telling us that you had done a blue book value check and you have some information about that. So could you fill us in, please?
Sure, I looked it up quickly. Blue Book says about between 3,000 and 5,000. Or not 3 to 5, 5 to 8, I believe it said.
Yeah.
That's for fair condition. I mean, it still runs and everything. We do drive it every Wednesday. We drove it from Northwood to Center Rutland, and it only starts when it wants to. It wouldn't start back up, so we had to push it in the garage and tuck it in behind engine 4 for the night. I went down the next day, fired right up, so we drove it back. So it's a little fussy in its old age. So I don't think it's quite worth $8,000 personally, but whatever you guys think. I mean, the body was rotted out. Earls did do minor repair. They squirted bed liner stuff around the entire truck on the bottom half so it could pass inspection 2 years ago, I believe it was. So for being 32 years old, it's still runs and it's not horrible looking, but I mean, it's not worth, I heard somebody in town say it was worth 30 grand the other day. So I don't know where they get the numbers, but I was thinking more to.
I want to make a motion that the fire department, because we didn't vote on it.
We did not. Let's hear what Joe has to say about his recollection of a process.
Okay.
And then we'll take your motion.
Okay.
Okay.
So if I remember right, we discussed this, and one of the things that I think as a board, without a vote, we kind of agreed to allow the fire members to have first bit dibs on the truck. And my concern at the time had been if we had 3 or 4 guys interested, it wouldn't be in the best interest of the fire department to have them bidding against each other on the truck.
Right.
So what I had suggested was that if and when the town got ready to sell it, we establish a price. If Chris has a few members, 1 or 2 or 3 that are interested, we set the price. And if there's more than one, then put the names in a hat and let Mary or somebody, Sharon, somebody draw a name. It'd be fair. No anybody would be treated any differently and the price would be set on the truck. And I kind of like to do that. I like, the guys, there's might be some interest there. It's I don't know, it's more of a keepsake than a really valuable piece of truck. I mean, I know it's old and it's everything. And that's one of the older 7.3s. They're all mechanical. There's no frills on that truck. There's no electronics, no anything. But when you get into what Chris is talking about, the temperamental starting, it could be expensive. It could not be expensive. So I think what we need to do is just come up with a price somewhere in that range that he had, given it's.
Hey, Marcia, we'll get to you in a minute. Thanks for joining
Okay,
us.
thanks, Mary. I don't know what happened. I had a little triangle that said that it didn't recognize my my microphone, so I logged out and
Okay.
logged back. No problem. Thanks.
So
What's the
mechanic-
price?
what's 5,000-6,000 would be probably plenty. It's
It's toward the lower end.
I mean, it could have some body issues and rust issues that will make it harder to inspect. Mechanically, it's probably in pretty good shape. And it doesn't, Chris, do you know how many miles are on it? I always ask you this.
22,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so it doesn't have a lot of miles, so that makes it kind of appealing, but once they get that old, one of the downsides to an old truck, they're hard to get parts for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues. So I don't know what your motion is, Sharon, but
Well,
Here's
I,
your motion.
I'd like to make a motion that it go to the fire department fellas first. And if it's not in wonderful shape, you said between 5 and 8. How does 6,000 sound? And then I would motion that would be that we would give it to the fire department first.
first option.
First option, and if there were more than one fireman wanting it, then Joey's idea
At that price.
at that price,
Okay.
put it in the hat and pull it out of the hat.
Okay.
And if nobody in the department wants it,
It is, okay.
then we'd put it out to
Then we'll
bid
put
like
it
we
out
did.
to
I
bid.
mean, I'm a little,
Is that a second?
yes, that's the second.
Okay.
So,
right.
and the reason we just tried to sell that 350, which was a 2014 with a plow and sander, dual wheel dump truck, and we had it advertised for 3 months.
Yeah.
And we had to get somebody to come to us and said, I mean, we went door to door with it, tried to sell it. And we couldn't get anybody to bid on it. So I think that's a fair price. I mean,
Okay, so motions, and you know enough about the truck. Chris, what do you think? Is that a fair price for the truck?
Sounds good to
Is
me. I
that
mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, so the motion is to offer to sell a pickup truck to a member of the fire department at the price of $6,000. If there are more than one firefighter interested, we'll collect the names and we'll draw the names from a suitable receptacle at our next select board meeting. How's that? Okay,
Second,
motion's made and seconded. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay. So we need to make sure the word gets to the, Bill, could you send a memo to the current roster of
the
firefighters? and-
village fire chief, I was gonna say, Chris, can you
Yeah.
send out an email to
Okay.
the department? Let them know of our decision, and you need an answer by the 26th of August, whether anybody's interested.
Okay,
Is
26, so we can take it up at the meeting on the 27th.
that fair enough?
that is fair. I can do that.
Okay, good. Okay, couple of other things from the fire committee meeting. We did have talked about the private fire ordinance and the letters that went out. We did provide a copy of the letter to Chris. And in fact, the person who complained to him was not correct, because the letter clearly said we are not assessing any penalty at this time. And basically all we want is for people to have their private fire hydrant systems inspected, so we know they're working. It's for their own benefit as well as the town's. in the future, we just ask to make sure when Bill sends out a round of those letters that he lets the fire department know, Chris in particular, so that nobody's caught off guard. All right. So that takes care of number 2. Number 3, if you look at what's attached to the minutes, there is a copy of the fire department vehicle replacement schedule. And that we talked about that and whether it needs to be updated, and frankly, whether all of these vehicles need to be replaced, or whether there are 1 or 2 that just kind of need to, live out their lifetime and not be replaced. And that's a discussion for, consideration in the fire department and in future meetings of the fire committee and select board. And we also attach to it the amount of money raised each year in the depreciation fund as it presently exists, which is 1.34 cents, versus what it would cost, what we would set aside in that depreciation fund if we increased that fire depreciation account by an additional 1/4 cent. And against that, we show the withdrawals to pay for new equipment as the equipment schedule says. So, and we just heard, Joe talk about whether we should be asking the voters to increase the highway equipment depreciation fund. So these are all things, we don't need answers tonight, but these are things that will be coming up as we're working on our budgets in the fall, which leads me to another issue. So this is not a, this is a work in progress. Let me put it that way. No motion tonight. But the budget needs for the next fiscal year, we got talking about how to best replace the SCBA units. Do we do it all at once? So they're all the same year and the same company and the same model? Or do we do a couple each year? If we do it all at once, should we have a special ballot item on the town meeting budget? Should we take it from the capital
We just
improvements
did 'em, right?
funds?
Not too long ago. When did we replace them, Chris?
It'll be 6 years here pretty quick. We just had them all hydro tested last year, so they're good for 15 years. The reason I believe Frankie bought all new ones at once is because they came out with a new setup, so the pack would not fit our old bottles, and vice versa.
Okay.
I would like to buy, hoping they stay with the same setup for years to come. Just like we did years ago. Like I would get out like 5 or 6 or 7 to get hydro tested 1 year, and then next year another 5 or 6. So we don't have to replace all 26 packs, 52 bottles at once. Because I think that was like $250,000 when we did it.
Yeah.
Close to 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So do you need to replace the packs already after 6 years? I thought the basic pack itself has to be replaced on an earlier schedule. I thought they lasted a little longer than 6 years.
No, the packs can last forever. It's just the bottle, but the old packs we had are different than the new pack. So the new bottle wouldn't fit in our old pack. That's why we got everything new 6 years ago. If they keep the bottles the same, we could keep the same pack for 100 years if they kept the bottles the same.
All right, so you're just talking about replacing the bottles.
Correct, just bottles.
Okay. And there's 52. We got 26 packs, and there's 2 bottles for every pack for his best, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so
All right, I made that amendment to my minutes. Okay, the bottles, not the whole packs.
Okay.
Which, again, this is not something that needs to be decided tonight. It's just as we're putting the budget together, do we budget for it as a line item?
the 15-year lifetime, so you could end up with buying 52 all at once.
Right.
Or you buy, start if like 3 years early and stretch them out and replace 10 a year for 5 years.
Right.
What do you want to do?
Well, let's.
One year's idea.
Okay. As I
I
said,
don't-
we don't have to make a decision tonight.
But, well, we got to think about it. This is a big expense.
I know
Well,
it
I
is.
just, I don't want to put anything on the ballot. I just would like to change a couple every few years. Not, we don't have to do it this year. I'm just trying to get prepared for years, the future
You
here.
got about what? About 9 year, they're 15-year lifespan on the composite bottles.
Yep.
What's that? I didn't hear you,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes, they're 15 years.
15, and we've had, so they're 6 years old now already.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got a few years to think this through, because you wouldn't want to get rid of them too soon. You want to try to get most of the life out of them.
Right.
We got
And even if they were, if we got new ones, not this year, we're not going to get rid of the ones that were replaced first. We'll still keep them until the 15-year thing's up, so potentially we could have quite a few more than 52 bottles for a short time. You know what I mean? If we get two, we're not going to just throw two away that are still good.
And down at the
I just don't-
firehouse, you have that room set up for that, right, Chris?
Well, there is a room for a compressor to fill them, not to test them. They have to get sent away to
Right,
get tested.
but is that part of that building? I mean, if the room's there, then
for
shouldn't we-
storage at both stations for the spares. Every
Right.
pack has a bottle on it, and every truck probably has at least one bottle. That's the way they're supposed to be. So if you have 6 packs on the truck, there's 6 bottles on the pack, and there's got to
Okay.
be 6 spares. So most of them are in transit. There may not all fit. There may be some at the station. They don't take up a lot of room for storage. I'm thinking that we should start replacing them at about 12 years and do them in 3, that way you would end up with, then you would have a progression after that. I wouldn't want to do it too early. So if we started at 12 years and replace them over 3, by the time,
Yeah.
so you do about a 30 year, which is about 17 packs a year or bottles a year. And then when the last ones are gone at 15, they can no longer be refilled.
Yeah.
Your oldest ones at that point will be 3 years old. And
Okay.
then
Right.
you'll be in that progression where you would replace them. It's kind of like the turnout gear. He replaces about 5 sets every year. In the same with the pager. So because they have that unique situation where they had to buy all the bottles at once to fit the new packs, it was a big expenditure, but you could start replacing them at year 12 or 13. So 13, 14, 15 and replace them all out. But it's a good idea to be thinking how we're going to do it.
Okay,
Right. It
so
was
I'm
ju-
gonna play double on, but explain to me exactly what those are for.
So do you want me to explain this, Chris? You want to do it?
You can take it.
Okay, so the self-contained breathing units are for interior firefighting. The guys have to wear them anytime you're in a hazardous environment.
Okay,
It could be a hazmat situation, could be smoke, it could be anything like that. So it's required that you have the pack. What's that? Could be a dead body, which is even worse than a hazardous material or smoke. I'd rather breathe either of the others. So they have that, and per the requirements of NFPA, you have to have a spare bottle for every pack.
okay,
And realistically, there's supposed to be a pack on every truck for every person on the truck. So this is, it gets a little tricky, but the department has been very lucky that we have this many. Some departments don't have a fraction of what we got. But if each one of our engines can operate as a separate unit, and they could go to a separate incident if they had to.
Yeah.
So you need this redundancy.
Yeah.
Just coming up with a schedule to replace them, figure out a way to start replacing them 2 or 3 years before they're all done. And by the time they're no good, they're all gone. And now you've got a stretched out schedule.
Yeah. I
So-
see.
We're about midway before I think we really need to start replacing them.
All right. Okay, so that's what we talked about. No action required tonight. We've dealt with the pickup truck.
So I did have one question for Chris.
Sure.
Christopher, on the second page that we got here, I don't know if you have this page in front of you. I'm hoping you do, but it shows the replacement schedule in the vehicle expense. on the last column. Do you have that page?
I don't have it in front of me, but I can remember what it looks like.
Okay, and I was just curious, it says vehicle expense, and I'm not sure if, it was what we paid for the vehicle the last time they were replaced. Is that what those numbers are?
There's a number for what we just paid for everything on the left, and then I think there's a number on the right for what we paid for back then. Like, I think 41 was like 200,000.
Yeah, so this page here. Okay. All right, that's on the other page. I'm looking at the
That's
middle
the old-
page, and yeah, 41 was 225,000, I think we bought for that one. And like engine 2 was about 355. And I
Yeah.
know that trucks have like gone nuts in the last couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
Okay. Yeah, it's anything that you need becomes very expensive. All right, it just helps me understand this a little bit better. I remember we got criticized because we bought a truck that had cost us $225,000, didn't have any water on it. But it's got $500,000 worth of tools on it.
Oh, God.
It's a toolbox on wheels, and that's what it was. And then I opened the side compartment up and I showed the questioning party, well, there's 6 cases of water in here for the guy, so it does have water on it. He was not human. He didn't think that was funny. Well, I was chief and that was.
You know, I took a tour of the new fire station. And I highly recommend that board members that haven't go on that tour, because I think we're the people that are responsible for that. And I just think, I mean, I was impressed at all the rooms that were in there, but I think it might be nice if all the board members at some point took the tour.
I would like to, and I was kind of hoping we could set something up, but with Matt and Kurt not here. I know Joey's been through it, but I'm sure.
Well, when I went through it, it was forms and footings.
Okay.
But I drive by it every day and the doors are open and I can look in and I know what's going on in
Yeah,
there.
And JP isn't on, he's clerk of the works, so.
But it
that
would
might
be.
One of those, I
nice to
really
go in there.
still would like to go through it.
Yeah. So I
So
talked to
think-
you at the beginning and now we're talking fire station. The color is not what was proposed. And I don't know if there's something we should try to do about this before they leave or live with it. You guys are gonna live there. The upper portions and the higher part were supposed to be bronze, not green. And I don't know who made that change. And I don't know if that's to the tenants liking. Cause you guys are gonna, I kind of thought it was gonna be the same color as this other siding and the whole building was gonna kind of look like center, so they kind of looked alike. And I was disappointed when I found out that, no, that's the color, cause I keep waiting for them to change it.
But we went up there today. And you see what we have here,
Yeah,
so we really don't care about that.
no, I understand
We
that.
were so thrilled with the inside of that tour. We're not gonna be able to see it from the inside, so, but
Aesthetics
I
are
hear what
nice
you're
and uniformity is nice. And I don't know if as a board or as I wasn't on the building committee, it was mostly you guys and the fire guys, but if you'd like that a different color, or you'd like it the color it should be, or something, I think now is the time to make noise about it.
Well, we should have this discussion, I think, with JP.
Yes, we should, but I want to get it out there because pretty soon that building's going to be done. And it's going to be way too late. The more they do to it, the harder it's going to be if we want that changed.
Yeah, well, I made a similar request to the fire committee. Please let us know if there's anything as you're going through now that needs to be changed rather than waiting till the end and we're at a punch list and it's, really
yeah.
inconvenient. So same offer for the police department.
I mean, you guys go
If
through
you
your
see
office space.
something now, let us know earlier rather than later, please.
2 offices are about the size of what you got for space now, maybe 1.5.
one
One?
office.
Okay. So, but I mean, the way it's laid out, it's one thing to look at it on a piece of paper. It's another thing to actually walk through there.
Yeah.
Flows very well.
Okay.
It really does.
Good.
Again, we went through it today. It's amazing. To my eyes, it's amazing.
Yeah, I was pretty,
Yeah, I mean, when you're moving from the closet to the living room, it is a big difference. isn't it?
yeah,
And so, but I would just, like I say, you can look at that blueprint up there to forever, and it's hard to envision until you start walking in there and make sure.
So Bill, would you please work with JP and see if, and the other select board members, and see if there's a time when we can go on a tour?
Absolutely.
That would be great. And the,
I mean, he
the
could,
fire chiefs and the police chiefs, they might want to come too.
I mean, they did find a few things that didn't fit quite right, like a beam that was supposed to be hung for the,
Mhm.
taking the tank out of the pickup truck. That didn't fit where it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
But, little things like that, but
Well,
nothing big.
I learned lesson with center when we had issues way late in the game.
The
so I-
mechanical stuff, anything that's gonna fail, it's not going to fail until we move in and
Right.
start using stuff. We'll hope for no failures.
But things like
But
the color and,
the color is something that I think needs to be addressed over the next month or two, because I don't want it being moved into and then say, geez, we should have done it, because I almost think the top was supposed to be the color of those desks, that table, a bronze color.
but
And it was-
wasn't the station itself supposed to be red?
Well, I thought it was
Ish.
all supposed to be red,
Yeah.
but Larry explained to me from the drawing he had, the lower section is the red that's there, or whatever color, and that matches center. But the higher elevations, the tower and the apparatus bay in the front are supposed to be in a bronze color, which I don't know, but I would have thought that just made it all red, just like the other one, and it looked,
Yeah,
and
I
if,
thought,
and if that could be painted to match, but there's an expense there, and I don't know who foots the bill for that expense.
well,
I
if
don't know
they made
who-
the mistake,
I don't know who authorized the change in color from what the committee accepted. So,
okay, the issue's out there.
that's going to be a JP question and a
Mhm.
BMS question and a Ed Clark question as to how did we end up here?
well, when we sold it to the voters,
I don't think we told them a color though.
I thought the
We had
picture
the
showed it as
elevations.
red.
Yeah. But I was, I kept waiting for the color to change because I thought that,
That was the insulation.
yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. But no, and then when I got to looking at it, Gary did tell me they're a laminated panel with the insulation in the metal. And then I was haying out back and I said, oh yeah, that's what those are, but they aren't red or whatever color. So I understand your excitement, but on the same token, if we had other aspirations, we should try to get there.
We want to do it right, so let us know.
Right.
Okay. All right, thank you all. So now Marcia's on, Marcia Chaffee, head lister.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry about that. I had this little
Oh,
triangle.
I'm sorry, Marcia,
on my
just a sec,
microphone.
Chris, thank you for your report, by the way. I know we hopped around, but appreciate your input and thanks for meeting with us last week too. Okay. There we go. Did we cover everything that you wanted us to, Chris?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, so Marcia, sorry about that. Now you're on.
Yeah, interesting here. Yeah, I tried to unmute myself and I came up with this triangle that said that I had to update my Zoom. So I just logged off and logged back in. But anyway, we held grievance meetings. We had 4. We have now 1 taxpayer that is requesting a meeting with the BCA. So this meeting is going to have to be scheduled for no later than August 22nd. So I will contact Carrie tomorrow and we'll have to get everything going.
Okay, well, thanks for staying on top of that. So only one grievance to the Board of Civil Authority.
No,
That's
we
good.
had 4 grievances to
Right.
to the Board of Listers, but only
Right.
1 taxpayer is requesting a hearing before the BCA. Yeah,
Right.
correct.
So, yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I will get
Okay,
with Mary tomorrow so that we can get the notice out and schedule the hearing.
Yeah. So we did receive in our packet an expression of interest in the open lister position. And it's from Kathleen Kapitansky, and it's a resume as well as the email that she forwarded to us. What we have done in the past is invited an applicant for a position to come in and talk to the select board, usually just prior to the next select board meeting. So if it's your pleasure, select board members, I will ask Kathy to come in and talk with us in front of our next meeting on the 27th.
So if we appoint her, what happens after that? Does she have to be on the ballot in November, or does it, or does she get?
Probably on the ballot in November.
It'll be the same thing as when we appointed Marie last year.
Yeah.
That she
And
had
Matt,
to, and
too.
Matt, they both,
Yeah.
because I think the statute says that they have to run at the next election.
Yeah.
Not necessarily spring election, so it's the next one. And she would be running to finish out Jack's term, or would she be running until March? Because Jack just got in March, did he, or when was? That would be my only question.
Okay, we'll look that up. But I'm
Jack-
pretty sure she's filling
Yeah,
out the
Jack
term.
was up
Marcia,
for-
you might know.
Yeah, Jack was up for reelection in 2023. And Marie was up this year. So the position
Okay.
that Kathy Kapitansky would fall into is Jack McCamley's.
Okay.
So if she ran it,
Dig out, I know
figure out just
Kevin
the
Brown
so
did.
she will know,
the
those are
letter.
things that we can point out to
Yeah.
her, so she'll understand going forward.
Okay, and Bill, would you invite her to come in for our next meeting? Well, maybe just in advance of our next meeting, like half an hour or so ahead of time. Okay. 5:30. Okay, good. And thank you for your, Kathy, for her interest. Marcia, what else do you have for us?
That's about it. We've had several phone calls from people saying what's going on with my taxes. So it's like I want to put a recorder on in the vestibule of the town hall saying, press this button to let you know what's going on with the taxes. But other than that, we're gearing up for just going out to do site visits for people that have indicated to us that they have finished or will be finishing up outbuildings or pools or whatever improvements to their properties this fall, so that we don't fall into having to run around next April to do all these site visits.
Okay.
And that's about
All
it.
right, any questions? Any questions for Marcia?
No, will Marcia be here when we, or should she be here when we interview this lady that's interested?
Trying to think of what we have done in the past.
I think usually we do it.
I think we
Okay.
just do it, yeah.
I can't remember.
I
Doesn't
did
matter.
stop in briefly and chat with Marcia, and I invite
Sure,
you to do the same.
I can be available if you want me to, so,
Okay.
whatever way.
Okay,
Okay?
thanks, Marcia. Yeah,
Bye.
appreciate that.
Yep. Good night.
Good evening. All right, Carrie Clerk, Town Clerk and Treasurer.
Good evening.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi. So let's see, I don't really have a whole lot tonight other than reminder that, some of the things I have to talk about tonight, you already talked about. So the election is tomorrow.
26.
Right.
Um,
Didn't say that. He wants
Should I keep talking?
Yeah, I think, yes, Bill muted the other speaker.
Okay. All right, let me back. So there's an election tomorrow. It's the primary election. I put sample ballots on Facebook today at the request of a resident or a voter. I also put some reminders there. So polling places will be open as usual, 7 to 7. The only thing voters really need to recognize is that they are going to be handed 3 ballots, and they are to choose 1 to vote on and 2 to discard in a box that will be at their polling place. And then they submit the voted one into the tabulator, which will get counted. They are going to be given the ballot that goes with their district. Rutland Town was broken into District 2 and District 4. So depending on where they live, they have been assigned a district, and those are the ballots that are within their district. And also a reminder that we are voting on candidates for the November ballot for state state parties. It's the like
This
state
is basically the
representative.
part, yeah, this is the party primaries. So
Yeah,
you're
that's-
voting in your party for your candidates. That's the way I
right.
look at it.
Yeah. So I reminded people that we are not voting for president yet. A lot of people do think that that will be in November. That will, I believe, I'm pretty certain that those ballots in November are going to be sent out by the state. And that is going to happen very shortly after, I'm going to say September. They're going to start with files and stuff. So it's gonna be like one ends and another one begins. So I'll have more information on that when we move forward. So that's tomorrow. And then just like Marcia was saying, we expected it. We're getting a lot of inquiries about the tax bills that were sent out and are starting to hit people's houses. They were sent out last week, and I'm pretty sure it's been nonstop phone calls and emails of why is this happening. And I guess I've been sending out the same type of email as a response. And just like Marcia said, if we could put something on a recorder, somebody hits the button, that's pretty much how we feel. Again, if you read the newspaper, if you've been following state news and also our own town news, you know that it is across the state in the education area. That's why your taxes are going up. In particular, Rutland Town's tax rate for the town went down. It's primarily the education that kind of jacked everything up. When people call me or email me, I'm asking them, first of all, if they knew anything about that particular piece, because that's the primary reason. But before they call me, if they do hear this this meeting tonight, do a couple things. If it's not that you're concerned about, you don't think that that's why your taxes went up, compare it to last year's. Did you file your homestead? We had a lady come in today. She had no idea what was going on. She never filed her homestead, and that's something every Vermonter has to do. In the previous years, when you file for this lady, she filed, she got a lower homestead rate and actually was eligible for a state payment last year. So once she does that, this year she'll see a difference in her taxes. So that's one thing that you can do, is ask yourself, did you file that? If not, that is something that you need to do. And then also look at did you have any changes in your financial situation? I had a man reach out. He's like, why did I not get this amount of money like I did last year? Well, first of all, it's not the town clerk's office that deals with that. It's your income taxes. When you file in the springtime, then the state determines whether or not you're going to get money to help from the state onto your property taxes. It's not us that determines that. It's actually what you're filing for your income taxes. So if you have a change in your finances, that's something that is beyond our control. So if you don't get a state payment, you don't get a state payment. Not all states do that. So we should feel lucky that we have that opportunity. So those are some things. And also, did you happen to change like the portion of your house? Are you using it as a business now? Look at all those sort of things and see what was the change before you call and say, why did my taxes go up? Look at all of those things and then consider the education rate. That is the big deal. So we didn't do it on purpose. I want people to know that. In fact, a lot of the money is not staying with us. So I feel pretty good that we kept our budgets down low, and it is what it is. It's just something that we all have to deal with, and it's not just in Rutland town.
Okay, good pieces of advice, Carrie. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Other than that, I
So-
don't have anything. It was just the elections and the tax bills I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, let me move to action item A, which is sort of, you were involved because you were the convener of the Board of Abatement, and Marcia's still on, so if she can put Don on. The board to consider abatement of de minimis amounts of
Wait a
delinquent
minute,
tax.
I think he's got that muted.
Delinquent taxes. Yeah, it's okay now.
Yes, I'm on,
Um,
Mary.
Okay, thank you, Don. When the Board of Civil Authority, or the Board of Abatement, excuse me, met, at the end of our session, Don presented us with the request and that the BCA, the Board of Abatement, allow him to not have to collect small amounts of taxes, back taxes owed of $10 or less. And we also found a new statute which allows that request, the de minimis amount, the request to be made to the governing body, the legislative body, the select board. So the Board of Abatement agreed and passed a motion that basically they recommended to the select board that small amounts of delinquent taxes under $10 be abated just automatically. So I wanted to put that on our agenda because they have passed it to us, and it's actually the select board now under the new law that can abate this. Did I explain that correctly, Don and Carrie?
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, you explained it exactly correct.
Okay. So that's what I would like the board to consider. It's the request of the Board of Abatement, and if there's a motion, all the better.
Are we going to do it as a 3-person board, or do you want to wait till we have the full board? Or is it that big a deal?
I don't think it's that big a deal.
Yeah.
Then I'd move to
And I second it.
do what you said.
Okay, so
I can't repeat all that.
Joey moves and Sharon seconds that we
And Mary will explain it.
abate the amount of delinquent taxes for small amounts of $10 or less.
Okay.
Okay. And take that action as the select legislative body of the town. Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-2-0-0. Okay. So there, we've taken care of those little little amounts, Don, so that frees you up for all of the other ones, right?
Well, thank you very much. And, you know, that decreases your delinquent property taxpayer list by about 80 numbers, which is fairly significant out of 240. So we're working on the other 140 pretty hard. So
Don, I have a quick question while Carrie's on too. I received a phone call from Pratico's Landscaping about a delinquent amount that was a very small amount that was paid 2 or 3 times. And then as I was signing the orders, bills, and warrants, I noticed a refund going to Pratico's. Is that the refund of this amount?
well, it's a long story, Mary, and it's a little complicated, but I'll simplify it by saying that not every taxpayer knows the process of collection, number one, and not every taxpayer is aware that there are dates that are sensitive, number two. And because of both of those considerations, plus the fact that Pratico's is under new management, and I guess, you know, it's a learning curve. Not only was there a check that was presented to us, firstly, covering both personal property and real estate, which is a no-no because it takes, well, the way the system works, it's very cumbersome to try to separate those amounts out. That's number one. And number two, because of a late payment of one of the payments, there was interest added and carried forward, and the taxpayer did not realize that when the late payment is made, that the interest is subtracted from the principal. So therefore you end up with a principal payment that's still due. And she was wondering why she still owed on her principal if she made her payment on time, the next payment. Well, the next payment has nothing to do with the previous payment, which was late and therefore carried over and had interest added. And I'm trying to work this situation out with them, and we will get it resolved. It's a small account, and it's some natural errors that occur on the behalf of taxpayers, and sometimes there's errors on my part as well, but we'll get it resolved.
Okay. She did say that she tried to call you, but your voicemail box is filled, so you might want to check that.
Right. Well, I was on vacation and it got loaded up, so.
That's what happens. Okay, well, I will, if she calls me tomorrow, I'll let her know the topic came up and you'll be working with her, and also that there appears to be some refund check coming to her.
The refund check would be, if we get it resolved the way I expect it to be resolved, I think she'll have a refund check of $40 and some 64 cents coming to her, which certainly will not bankrupt either the town or me. And I'd be happy to get this situation resolved, because I've already spent way more time on it than I'd like to.
Yes. Well, I did start with, if this is under $10, we're going to take care of it tonight. But since it was $40, that didn't work. Yeah.
I was
okay,
thinking
thank you, Don, very much.
10 out of the 40 and then give her a $30 refund, but I guess I can't do that.
No.
But thank you, board, for approving that de minimis abatement. That'll make the delinquent list much more in keeping with our town's policies and procedures, because we have a very low delinquent tax rate.
Okay, thanks, Don. And Carrie, do you have anything else, or do any of us have any questions for Carrie?
I do not have anything else.
Okay. Good luck at the election tomorrow. I'm doing the morning shift up at school, and I think Sharon's with me. So we'll see a bunch of voters maybe tomorrow. And thank you very much. Have a good rest of your evening.
Yes, you too.
Okay. Bill Sweet, Town Administrator. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Right.
All right. So a few things came in that are on your desks to go through. The first, Mary, is the correspondence from Kevin.
Yes, the rescission of the sewer maintenance agreement. You will remember that the new car wash, Eco Car Wash, asked to be relieved of its obligation under the letter of memorandum of understanding that essentially said the previous owners of Eco Car Wash and the owners of the Denny's property had to work together to clean out a sewer drain and keep it clean and go on an annual inspection and cleaning program and to share costs for that cleaning. We turned the matter over to town attorney who essentially advised if there's been no problem, and we heard from Dave Sears, there has been no problem here since the previous owner of the Ecos Car Wash property has been out of business. There's not an existing problem that would require this agreement to remain in place. Anyway, we have the underlying sewer maintenance agreement. Should there be a problem in the future, that will kick in and we could come back against whichever property owner presents a problem. So we had at your instruction, I don't think it was you, at your instruction 2 weeks ago, I got a hold of Kevin and said, whatever you need to do to clear this up, what they want to do to clear it up is to do a formal rescission of sewer maintenance agreement. And they want it approved by the select board and signed on me on behalf of the select board. So that's the 2-page document you have, 1.5 pages that you have in front of you. So what's your pleasure? Basically, it says we're rescinding that MOU, but we're reminding you that you're still subject to our ordinance regarding use of public sewers. This is where somebody makes a motion.
So we're basically relieving the property where the car wash is from this original agreement, but Denny's will still be compelled to.
I believe this is rescinding both properties.
Both properties.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you look at number 2 at the bottom of the page.
So they're both going to be off.
So they're both off.
So I guess we're protected that if we find an issue, we can go back and say, look, you're messing up here.
That's what it sounds
We
like.
could, under our existing ordinance, because that doesn't go away.
As long as they understand that.
We're protected that on.
It's
I mean,
number
I'm not
3.
sure who was causing the
okay.
issue or if either one, what it was, or it was the joint effort. And have we heard anything from Denny's about this, or were they informed of this?
No, we're doing this unilaterally, so we're just lifting the obligation from both of them,
And then,
if that's what you choose to do.
and then our highway crew, Public Works Department is going to keep an eye on things down there and make sure that we don't have a problem. Of course, it'll be much easier now to determine where the problem's coming from.
Yes.
I'll move to accept the letter of recession as presented by Kevin and authorized board chair to sign on behalf of the town.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Sharon's aye, I'm aye. So it's 3-0-0. Motion carries and I'm signing. It's today, 12th. Okay, so that's in the packet. Thank you,
Okay,
Bill.
thank you. The next item, number 2, is from the Regional Planning Commission. It is the contract for them to help us update our local hazard mitigation plan. So we have a grant for this, which funds a big portion of that cost. The last meeting, we had accepted them as the vendor for this after Marty and I reviewed the proposals we received. And that is their standard contract for services for us to move on.
They were the low.
They were.
Okay. So it's a proposal from the Regional Planning Commission to, for a sum not to exceed $9,852.79 to perform our hazard mitigation work. Is there a motion?
So it's, I think it was $9,800 is roughly their cost. We do have a match, but the time that Marty and I spend working on it counts as an in-kind match, so it'll reduce our financial obligation.
When you folks
To
work
accept
on this.
the terms of this contract with the Regional Planning Commission.
Authorize someone to sign?
Oh, do I have to do that?
Yep.
Anybody, or would you like to?
I'd be willing to.
Authorize Mary to sign on behalf of the
Second.
council.
Motion's
I missed
made,
that part.
made and seconded to approve the proposal from the Rutland Regional Planning Commission. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Sharon?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 300, and I'm signing it.
Okay, thank you. So number 3 for Hitzel Terrace, we're gonna send that to the Highway Committee for Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd just like to point out a little something on the back here that annoys me. There's a sentence here that there was an article in the Rutland Herald said that recently the town collected too much in taxes last year and it had a surplus. And that's an erroneous statement. The town did not collect too much in taxes. We collected what we were required to collect in taxes to operate our budgets. What was in excess was the 1% amount that we have no control over its amount. So I don't want people out there thinking that the Board of Select persons in this town is taxing them for budgets in excess of the amount requested. That I don't like that statement at all.
Okay.
And we will talk about it Wednesday.
We took care of number 4, and the next is an invitation from the car wash. They're holding their grand opening on Wednesday, August 21st, and they are extending an invitation to town personnel to attend. So if any town personnel would like to attend, August 21st at 10 a.m. at the car wash.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next, number 6 you have is comes from
Bill, could we do a little letter? Remember Josh used to do letters
Yes.
welcoming them to town
Yep.
and thanking them and so on.
Yep,
Okay.
I do have that template still. So yes, we got
Good.
a couple we
Let's
got to
do
put
that.
together. So
Thank you.
absolutely. There is the number 6 is from JP. He had asked, so he has a timesheet which calculates his reimbursement rates for him automatically. And he was asking for it to be changed from what it currently is, which is 1627 to 1989. And he said this was voted on by the board. I couldn't find anything, and so brought to you guys to.
If I recall, it was part of the budget process where when we did the budgets last fall, and that rate was up. So I don't think it was done specifically. We just accepted the budget with the increase would be my,
Yeah, I think you're right.
I believe that was the way we were going to do that. So
That's fine.
I guess we need a motion to do that.
That would be good.
All right. I'd move that we it's the mileage expense or the hourly
It's the
expense?
hourly rate.
Hourly
for the
vehicle reimbursement for the second constable be adjusted to the, and what was the amount, Bill? So
1989 is the new amount.
1989
Per hour.
per hour.
Okay, motion's been made to
Second,
go with the updated FEMA rate and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
aye.
I was reading
Motion
something else. It's like,
carries.
Me too.
You just talking, Mary?
The motion carried 3-0.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll take care of that. And the next thing, we received from,
And could you make sure Carrie gets a copy of that so she
yes,
knows?
we'll,
Okay, thank you.
we attached the minutes to those for those. Yep. There is a Vermont 250th anniversary commission. And there's a letter there explaining what they're doing. And there is they sent a template for a resolution for towns to be a part of the commemoration. And they listed on the letter, they list all the towns that have already adopted it. And it has been updated to reflect us specifically if you would like to adopt it.
So this is 250 years that Vermont has been a state, right?
Yes.
Which
You're an
will be,
independent country for how long?
we were 12 years, I think.
12 years.
You
yeah.
know, what's fun is to tell people from Texas that really twerks them out.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
think they were the
because
only ones.
We were.
Yeah.
After the Revolutionary War, we were an independent country.
Yeah.
And then we became the 13th state, right?
14th.
14th,
It was
14th, 13th,
negotiated.
14th
You
state.
had to wait until a slave state joined and we were the balance.
Because it was the original colonies and we were the next state.
Right.
Okay, so what's your pleasure? And I'm
One time we
looking-
belonged to part of New Hampshire and part of New York too. They each laid claim to us.
And the
Yeah.
Westminster Massacre came about because of that confusion.
Right.
Just
I
so
think
you know.
Canada wanted us too, because we were going to be part of,
Negotiated
yeah, we
with
were going to be
Canada.
part of Canada for a while.
Which is an
Okay.
option.
Yeah.
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 That I didn't know.
Yeah,
Ethan,
yeah, we were.
Ethan or Ira Allen was negotiating with Canada,
Canada,
and then this other thing fell into place.
Yeah.
That's called the United States.
And then we got to be part of the United States.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we could have been our own little country sitting here.
Yep. You could have, bidding on the Olympics and stuff like that.
There you are.
Okay, so there's no specific, shall we hold this over till
Yeah,
the
let's
rest of
go.
the select board can see it? Yeah,
Is there a deadline?
There is,
Oh, shoot.
no, we
Okay.
can do it. If it was going to be adopted, it has to be at the next meeting.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll stick it back in the file then.
Okay.
But this
No
is,
problem.
this is nice. I
Yeah,
don't
okay.
expect a lot of controversy. Okay, what else do we have?
You had on the fire committee about the changes to the ordinance. Did you want to go over that now or do you want to
No.
wait for a different time?
Because we didn't really, no.
That was it.
Okay, couple of things on the desk. Oh, there's the letter. Okay, let's stick all of that in there. We have a couple of things. I did mention Marie Pennington's email concerning a culvert, and I think Joe's gonna raise that with the highway committee.
Yep.
If you don't have that one, there it
I
is.
kept it right there.
Yep.
Okay.
And I
We
made some
have
notes
the
'cause I have another
invitation and we
complaint.
congratulate Eco Car Wash on their upcoming opening. And thank them for, being in our town. We've done the rescission of the maintenance agreement on the sewer. We've taken care of,
Everything but the minutes from
Well,
3 meetings.
I know, well, we'll get there. We do have
Eventually, all of us will be here.
State of Vermont notification of a public hearing. This is for a hazardous waste storage facility permit, which is being sought by Green Mountain Power. And it is a facility, I believe, in Rutland City.
Yes, it is.
So,
We're a neighbor, which is why we got that.
right, we're in a adjoining town municipality. So if Barbara, or let's do this.
They have the planning commission got
They
sent a
have a
copy too.
copy?
Yeah.
Okay, so just see if they think it's something we need to
Yep.
participate in at all, and I'd appreciate that. And there's information about that. I'll put that back there. We have 2 thank you notes. One is from Will Fuller, who says, "Thank you for providing me with this amazing scholarship. It will be put to good use." Will was one of our scholarship recipients this year. Thank you, voters, for approving the money. And also a thank you note from Ben Soretta. He was honored to receive the scholarship and he's appreciative of our generosity and support. And it goes, actually, he wrote a very nice letter, so you might want to.
It'll be added to the board. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna put them up on the board. Sorry. What else do we have? Let's see. Any other items? We've kind of been over. We did fire committee. Other committee reports. I don't think anyone else met. We do need to meet in executive session. For, let's see, some legal update. We have a personnel matter, a pending investigation. And I think, a couple of legal updates from town council. So with all of that in mind, if someone would like to make a motion, and for the first part, we'd ask Chief Dumas to stay in. Okay.
So move.
Motion's made and seconded to go into executive session, non-debatable. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Joe.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. We're in
I just, when
executive
I
session.
seconded, I figured.
Okay, you're all set.
Okay. Okay, we're out of executive session at 8:17. Is there any motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.